Hello, heathens.
Hello, Heathens.
Hello.
Merry holidays.
Yeah. Merry holidays.
Merry holidays. I try so hard to be like so
PC.
yeah, but not like I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I also am not trying to, but I just want, it's so funny because you're like, I'm just trying to be good. And then you're like, ah,
Yeah, because it's like, dude, we're trying to be PC and inclusive, and to do that, it's just Merry Holidays or Happy Holidays because it's like there's just so
mhm.
much that even you people are like, so do you celebrate Christmas? And I was like, yeah, I celebrate a few holidays actually. Like
You're right.
I'm not tied to one.
No, I like them all. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, this is just it's a good time.
I did have somebody stop me at the in the locker room the other day, and she's like, "Oh," and she was looking at my tattoo. She's like, "Those are so beautiful. I've never seen somebody with like really pretty Christian tattoos." And I was like, "Don't look at the other leg.
Yeah, you're
Don't look at it."
like, or
And
anywhere
then
else on my body.
she goes, she goes, as I'm realizing she also has a sweatshirt on that says like Baptist Church or something, and I was like, "Ooh." So then I was like, she's like, "Oh, what about the other leg? What's that? What is that? What is that on there?" I was like, "It's a cat." Because if you haven't seen my leg, which you probably haven't, but like it's a big black cat with a pentacle in the middle of it. And I was like, it's a black cat. And she's like, "No, I mean the symbol, like the star. I know that's something. What is that?" And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Well, it's a pentacle." And she's like, "Oh." And I was like, "Yeah, I like a lot of religions." And she's like, "Oh yeah, no big." And I was like, "Gotta go. Fast
You're,
as light.
you're like, yes, other religions believe in angels. Goodbye.
I gotta go. I don't want to explain my original." Bye.
Yeah, we're like, sorry, the pool's calling me. Gotta go.
Hello.
I can hear the spirits in the other room saying, "Where are you?"
Get your ass out here now.
uh, I am friggin' tired today, you guys. I know that a lot of everybody else is probably feeling this too, but I feel like this time period of like the hustle and bustle of the holidays is always like a pretty tiring one.
Yeah, the consensus is pretty much the same as I've heard everybody else is saying that, like they're tired, they're kind of run down, which is interesting because like, you know, Christmas is like really coming up and and I don't feel Christmassy.
Understandable.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I need snow and like the shopping and decorating and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got time. And then I'm like, it's the 14th. What am I going to do? Literally have 10 days till Christmas.
Yeah, for real.
Rude.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, dang, we have a Yule dinner this week. You know what? Here's the thing. I love Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. One of the first readings I ever got, the lady was like, you just you feel like Christmas. Like
Yeah.
Christmas just lives inside of you. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, tell me again.
Yeah. What did he say? He said, it's like Christmas in
It's
there.
like Christmas in there. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. But
You're like,
you know,
mistletoe.
I have never in my life, well, I have, but I have to say it's nice to feel it again. I was just talking to Nicole about this. I've been feeling really like I just need to get away and have a vacation. And I am so thankful that Nicole was like, yeah, so after my birthday, I want to go to New Orleans. So we're going to New Orleans. Do you want to go? And I was like, I don't know if I can, dude. I was at the time I was vacationed out. I was like, I don't know if I can, dude. I
Mm-hmm.
need to stop vacationing so much for a minute. And then like weeks later, she's like, we're booking flights. Are you sure you don't want to go? And I was like, yeah, fuck it. It's fucking New Orleans. I've thought about it. I can't not go. I gotta go. And now I am so fucking thankful that I said yes, because while this has been an amazing time and there's been a lot of changes in my life that have been really great.
A lot of growth, a lot of expansion.
God, big changes. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I am unbelievably ready for a trip with my mother and my sister. I cannot fucking wait.
Same. I know it was funny because I was like, she's like, well, I want to go. And I was like, but you said you didn't want to go. Are
That
you sure? Like,
that's a past me. We don't know her.
we don't know
We
who
don't
she
know
is.
her. She said no
We
to
don't
going to
know.
New Orleans. We literally do not know her.
We don't know who she is.
No, we don't. That person no longer exists. I don't know who she thought she was, but she ain't me.
Oh, but we're going and I'm very excited. That's coming up quick too, though, because we're leaving on January 2nd, and I am
We got like two
so
more weeks,
excited.
dude. 2 more
And it's
weeks.
just going to be a quick little in and out, like 4 nights, I think, 5 nights, something like that. I don't know. It's just quick and it'll be warm and we get some culture and to walk downtown. Oh, I can't wait to walk downtown in the morning when they clean the streets off. And oh, one thing that we really want to do is see if we can do a swamp tour.
Yeah.
I am so excited about that.
I actually got to look that up today. Yeah, because we want to get on one of those freaking airboats and see all
Yeah.
the gators.
I want to see the moss in the trees and like the classic, like when you look at a movie where they show like being in the swamps and the log cabin and the trees and the roots and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, it feeds my soul. Like I want to go see it so bad.
Dude, I'm really excited for two things. One, the food. God, I'm
Yeah,
eating like I've never eaten in my life. I don't care. I don't care. All my money's going for food and drinks.
all
Yeah,
of it.
I'm
Yep.
so excited. And
Well, we don't need anything.
no, no, I mean, no, I don't really. My other thing that I'm
Food.
excited for, which I'm excited for you guys specifically, is that we are staying in the Andrew Jackson Hotel, which we've had some
Ooh.
pretty intense paranormal experiences in New Orleans already. So I'm really
Mm-hmm.
excited to stay because it's one of the most haunted hotels there, they say. And so,
Yeah. The guy said when we were on that tour, now I've only done one tour, so I don't know all the legends or anything like that, but what he said was that it would turn into a boys'
oh,
school.
yeah, Andrew Jackson bought it and it was a boys' orphanage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then later turned into a hotel. Um,
Because it'd
apparently they
be
take
burning.
pictures. It
Yeah.
did burn down. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But they take pictures of you while you're sleeping.
I literally keep telling my clients about this, and they're like, "That's not scary." And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm gonna be fucking pissed if I don't get wake up to a picture of me sleeping on my phone. You're gonna be so
Right?
mad."
Seriously, I was like, no, I mean, why not? We're all going to be staying in the same bed. If you guys don't know, when we travel together, we buy a king bed so we can all sleep in the same bed.
Yep, it
And it's
is.
so
It's a
perfect.
fucking cuddle puddle, dude.
It is.
We
It
all die
is.
together, and it's phenomenal.
It's amazing. I'm like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
Yep, we all die. We just like R.I.P. dog. Let us sleep in the dirt. We're gone. We
We're
are
gone.
gone.
And then we'll get some beignets
Oh God, and some cafe au lait.
and some cafe au lait.
God, I'm so excited. I don't care what anybody says. I'm eating oysters. I'm doing it.
What's wrong with oysters now?
Oh, because there was like this
Why are we hating on oysters now? Why
well,
can't we
it's
just
because there was a flesh-eating bacteria that was being found. They were having a lot of cases of it, but I can't remember where the
it's
oysters were
fine.
from that they were doing it, but I'm fucking eating oysters, dude. I'm so excited. I'm
I
eating all of
mean,
them.
like, what's a little flesh-eating bacteria? Actually, I think they said that was in Florida.
Yeah, here's the thing. If that's the way I go out, just know I'm going out full and I'm going out fucking happy. It's
Y'all
my
gonna die
time.
from something,
Yeah,
right? Like maybe it's a flesh-eating bacteria.
my time, man.
I'll be up in heaven, be like, well, it all started.
I'm gonna be like, listen, did I at least do what I was supposed to do? Could you tell me that? Like, did I do I
Right,
not have to do that again? Because that would be nice.
right.
Let me know.
Well, Yeah. Did I do what I'm supposed to do? Because that's what I would need to know.
That's
Do I gotta
all I
go
care about right
back?
now. Yeah, don't.
Oh,
If I do have to go back, can I at least go back with what I know, please? Like, can I learn it quickly? Like,
I think you gotta do magic if you're gonna do that.
but can I like not?
No, no, it's a whole system.
I'm gonna fight the system even
I mean, I
after I'm
don't know.
gone.
I don't know. Of course, the magic folks, magicians want to be like, no, you have to do it this way. But there could be a, what are those things called? Secret door, a hiding space or something. A different, what are those things in Mario Brothers that you go into to get
Golden
to?
tunnel.
Yeah, like stuff like that. It could be
Yeah.
like,
I just gotta get the I just listen, I'm good at meeting people. I could probably get it out of the right person up there. I'm just saying.
also, I would like to find a vampire. I heard there is a vampire there.
Yeah, the vampire shop's there, and then they have a
Not
speakeasy.
not those vampires. No, no disrespect. Like a real vampire. Well, I was talking to one of my clients, and she was like, her and her daughter were down there, and they were like walking it early in the morning or whatever. And they were like, she was like, no, that was a real vampire. Do I believe it? No, but I'm a scientist and I need to do research.
Do I also not believe it? No.
That's why I have to do research on
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do some research on like where the sightings are, like, or what it like conspiracies on it. Conspiracies.
Yeah, there you go. All right, friends. You
We're
know what
gonna survive the holidays.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you don't know from the title, we're talking about the holidays and how to survive them because let's be real, for some people,
Most people.
most people, when Mariah Carey starts defrosting and everything's getting thrown in your face with just like sparkles of fucking green and white and red, and all you hear is have a holly jolly
Jolly
Christmas.
Christmas.
Some people start planning, some people start buying, others not so much.
Dread. Instant dread.
That fucking pit in that stomach, that familiar pit in your stomach comes back. It can mean exhaustion. It can mean managing other people's opinions, traumas, some other kinds of overload.
Pick one.
We could go on and fucking
Or
on.
three.
So we're going to talk about some of them today and how to survive them and tools that we can use and implement and things that we need to remember during this time because it can be hard.
All right. So I wanted to start this off with a quick thing. Now, most families are dysfunctional. It's
Yes.
rarer that they're not. And we also need to look at the fact like people don't like to think there's anything wrong with their families. So my main goal, and you can add yours after, I don't know. Anyway, my main goal here is to give you tips and tools to deal with it. Instead of like, a lot of times we like to, if it's toxic, we run, right? And unfortunately, our family unit is that one thing that basically it's like going against everything to go against your family. So for something that extreme to happen, know that your instincts is to stay with your family and your bloodline. So know if it happens, that was something super extreme. But I also think that we like to not necessarily, we use that as a ploy too, or a way to not work on ourselves as well. To be like, well, they're toxic and I'm not going. So we have to be very wise or use discernment in why don't we like that person and why do we feel like we have to have a conflict with it. And I would like to have you guys explore for this Christmas and these get-togethers, explore the triggers that you have. Don't judge anything, just explore them. And then like maybe afterwards is really go in and dive deep on like, Well, when Sid says something about Trump, it totally, we get into a fight. Well, with those kind of examples, like you don't have to, you're never going to make him believe you, or you're never going to change his mind. You're never going to, like, that's not the goal here. The goal here is to, A, he's either trying to, a lot of people, especially when I feel we get older, is that we like to think we're still relevant. So we start pushing our ideas and our um, own agendas onto the younger, like, let me dispense some wisdom on you because I'm an older generation, because getting old is scary and dying is scary, right? So
Mhm.
like they're starting to feel this like whole thing, and so they want to feel like they're leaving some sort of, now sometimes this comes out twisted and wrong because we're all kind of fucked up, so like, you have to forgive how it's being portrayed as well. So what I'm trying to say is explore where this is coming from. Why is it doing this? Now, obviously, there are extremes on both ends of like abuse and like getting into physical fights, and you're literally like, safety is compromised. That's different. That is not what I'm talking about. But that's what I got.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a lot more to break down.
Oh, I figured.
Yeah, break down into that too, because I feel like there's some things that we don't talk about when it comes to why the holidays are hard. And I think one of them that I wanted to talk about first was like expectations around the holidays, and meaning like
Yeah.
there's this like expectation that we were supposed to feel a certain way, which is funny because that's like one of the first things you said was like, I just am not in the mood for holidays yet. And I'm like, yeah, dude. First thing I
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about too was like just the fact that like there's this expectation that we're supposed to feel a certain way, and it can make some people feel really isolated and
We're supposed to
alienated.
feel like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say there's so many reasons, right? Because like social media, um, um, consumption. The
Mm-hmm.
whole idea of consumption is you're doing this for your family. You're supposed to be so excited about it, and like Hallmark movies and Christmas movies and all this stuff just being thrown in your fucking face all the time, being like, if you don't look your family and you don't look like a Hallmark movie, you're fucking doing it wrong, dude. You're
You're doing
wrong.
it wrong, dude, right? Like,
Yep,
go back, try again, because
you ain't doing it right.
right, exactly.
I think also, with that being said, we also hold an idealized version of what the holiday should look like. And it can oftentimes lead to disappointment when the reality doesn't live up to our version of what holidays should look like. Because like one of
Right.
mine that it's it's not even anybody's control. It's Mother Nature's decision on that. But if it's not snowing, it's not Christmas
I
in my
know,
head.
that's right.
It's I fucking bum the whole morning of
I don't
Christmas if
know.
it's not snowing.
You just mentioned snow magic last time, so
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point.
we could.
That's one of my expectations though. I'm like, Christmas Eve it starts snowing and it snows all fucking day and it snows all the next day too. And we're
Mm-hmm.
cozied up together, opening presents, being
Mm-hmm.
looking out the window like, it's so pretty. uh,
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
I just need to make friends with the whole of Mother Nature.
Well, that could be our
Simple.
next we'll just sit in the back of the woods and figure, like, Mother Nature. I wonder if we just call her, will she come?
Is there a snow dance I can do? Other than
Maybe.
like snow magic, is there a snow dance?
Let me check my
I bet, yeah, right? You're like, let me look through my encyclopedia, starts flipping through pages in her head. So
Yes.
it goes without saying times around the holidays are crazy, right? Stores are full of people, parking's hard, people talk about how you should feel joyous and happy, and like, let's be honest.
As they're
It's a
yelling at you.
yeah,
You should be
yeah,
joyous.
yeah, right? Like, dude, if you tell somebody that you are like just not really in the Christmas spirit, there is a very likely chance that you're gonna get the what? How could you not be? And this is the most joyous time of the year, and
Be joyous.
very joyous. So you're like, oh, it's just all
Oh,
right, dude. Chill
I'm
on
happy.
me.
I'm happy.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like,
happy.
no, I actually feel great. What are you talking about?
Drugs, lots of drugs. Just take
Yeah.
lots of drugs.
Yeah. So there's ways to curb this, right? Like, and this is one that I feel like we never really talk about. Like, we don't talk about like what you can do to like help yourself during this time and how to take back some control of that feeling of like
Yeah,
isolation and alienation and feeling like you're a horrible fucking person because you're not excited about this. And
right.
like, especially say you are somebody that doesn't really have anybody around you that you can go to Christmas with. Like, there are people out there that just don't have family or don't have like
Mm-hmm.
their friends are with their family and stuff. So if like this time starts to feel isolating or you feel that pressure on the holidays, it's time to start looking for ways to get you out of that feeling. Like
Mm-hmm.
start creating your own meaning for the holiday. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wrote some down that I was like, yeah, I feel like this for me could do it too, because I used to spend Christmas Day alone, but I enjoyed it because I had my own little ritual, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I had my own things. So like this could mean something as big as like maybe you volunteer your time. If you're feeling lonely and you're feeling isolated and alienated, going and volunteering your time during this time is going to be huge. That's going to
That's a
feel
great
really
one.
good. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
giving back. You could meet new people that who knows, like you could meet somebody that's like, "Hey dude, do you have anything going on Christmas? You want to come to my house? Like come to my house. My family's going to love you." You never know what door it could open. Another one
Mm-hmm.
is like if you don't really have family that you spend time with, you probably have friends that'll let you come to their Christmas and will be fucking more than happy to have their friend at Christmas with them. And you never know
Mm-hmm.
without like, trying to schedule some time or during this time with your friends, go to brunch, or you could just spend time with a friend that absolutely gets it. Go out to dinner and they'll just feeling understood during this time could be really
Mm-hmm.
important. Some other little things that I wrote down because these are things that I like. One of them I did, not all of these, but you could take on new challenges like yoga, baking different muffins, learning something new.
Go to
I
the movies.
Oh God, yeah. So like on Christmas Day, I spent it with the cats, dude, and I would take pictures of me and the cats together. I'd make them take pictures with me by our tree and stuff because we had this monstera that I decorated for Christmas. And so
Mm-hmm.
I would make them sit in front of the fireplace with me and take pictures, and I'd watch all my favorite Christmas movies and make myself a Christmas
Mm-hmm.
breakfast and little Christmas drinks, and like I fucking enjoyed Christmas. I was like, dang, this is the best solitude ever.
That's
But
awesome.
doing activities like that can create this sense of control to where you feel like you're taking back your life and making it something you want instead of feeling like other people are making you feel isolated. You don't have anybody. You're no longer being a victim to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we all are. Sometimes we're forced into shit like that, but still there are things you can do that make your life better.
Yeah.
So which means to basically saying, if you don't want to be alone, don't fucking do it. If you don't want to be alone,
Don't be alone.
don't be alone, dude. You don't have to be alone if
Well,
you don't want to be.
yeah, I mean, go out there and get be brave enough to try something new.
Yes.
You know, like we all get to this little pit of our like, and
Fuck
I get
yeah.
it. I get it. Trust me. But like, be brave enough to try something new. Ask your friend,
Absolutely.
don't be so like scared to like, I don't want to be a bother and I don't want them to have pity on me and blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff that we tell ourselves that stops us and keeps us small. Do something brave.
Yes. Yes. Snaps for Nicole.
Stop, 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 stop.
So going back to what you were saying about families and stuff, I think another thing that we don't know, like I pay attention to this with my family just because my grandma's the matriarch of our family. And I watch her every year. They leave 2 days after Christmas for Gulf Shores, and I've watched her every year just hustling and fucking bustling to get shit done, dude. The holidays can be super overwhelming for some within the family who are planning everything for the family. And there can
Mm-hmm.
be a lot of emotional and physical and mental labor in that, and it can
Mm-hmm.
cause so much. And this can be a huge thing that keeps you from wanting to go to your family when really it all just happens to be that your one family member needs support. But also, with that
Mm-hmm.
being said, to all my people out there that do all this shit and get frustrated and start resenting their family, have you tried asking your family for support? I'm sorry to say it like that, but I'm going to be a little harsh with you, because have you asked?
Right.
Because if you
And
haven't,
and being passive aggressive is not asking.
thank you. It's not. And I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, the passive aggressiveness isn't going to work, dude.
Mm-mm.
Get out of it. You need help, you need to ask. You simply need to say, hey, Nicole, you know what? I'm getting a little overwhelmed with like how much food I need to make. Do you mind making one of these dishes or something? Or could you come help me set up the table or come help me
Yeah.
do this? It's just
Yeah.
that easy. And if they say, I actually have a lot to do, move on to the next family member.
Yeah. You gotta just, or even do a blanketed like Facebook post and like, or like a family, Facebook thing and like put it out there. If you've got a big enough family and that's how you want to communicate is through there, like, or a mass text of the
Yeah.
people that are coming.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that easy. And there's nothing wrong with you by asking for help.
100%. You have to give your family a chance to show up for you, or your friends,
Absolutely.
whoever's coming. You have to give them that chance, because also what that
Mm-hmm.
does is that starts to lead to trust. You have to be vulnerable with people that, hey, I'm actually really fucking struggling right now, dude, and I really need help.
Mm-hmm. Also, let's be realistic about ourselves because I know that Christmas is changing. We're going from this place where we basically do like a second Thanksgiving,
For
with
real, dude.
presents.
For real.
And if you don't want to cook anymore, find something else or find somebody else. Or like, I don't want to cook anymore, so I'm going to order it.
Absolutely, dude. These grocery stores do full family meals that you could just call in, tell them you want, I need 10, or I need mashed potatoes for 10 people. I need this for this many people. And they'll fucking do it. And they just give you a price and you literally just go and pick it up.
That's all right. So easy. So if you don't want to cook it, there are other options out there too. So take those other options. There's nothing wrong with, you don't have to be miserable.
Dude, and speaking of, to add to what Nicole was saying, there is, on the flip side of asking for help, there is also no problem. No problem. And I actually encourage you to say no when you're asked to do more than you can do.
Yes,
Holding boundaries during this time is hard, and it's harder. I think it's even harder to pour from an empty cup.
absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I know that, like, at some point, well, especially if you were like, I'm a people pleaser. So I say yes automatically. I mean, not so much now, but like, I would just say yes, no matter what I had on my plate, no matter if it put me in a detriment, it didn't matter. I said yes because it was asked of me, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I found my worth and my like is people pleasing. I'm
Yeah,
not worth anything to anybody if I don't please them. So I would say
same.
yes. So, you know, it's okay to say no.
Right, because
Like, look, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Right?
let's be honest, and everything that we just talked about right now, you're responsible for that. You're responsible
Mm-hmm.
for your feelings and your word. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
always doing our best and we are always being impeccable with our word, then you'll be okay.
Absolutely. And I will say on the flip side of that also is that we also tend to work a little too much. And if it makes you feel too guilty about, say, your mom asked you to come and help her with dinner, but you have to work for whatever reason. Um, Let me tell you something about work. It'll always be there. You're never going to catch up. That's why you have a job. So nobody's going to die unless you're literally working in a place where people are dying. Nobody's going to die if you take off that day before Christmas or that day when your mom needs you to help during the holidays. Nobody's going to die. Everything will literally still be there. So,
Unfortunately, work will still be there.
absolutely. That's how we get paid. Like, it has to be there.
Yes.
And you're
Yes.
just going to have a new, I don't know, a new urgent thing.
Right.
Right. It's always going to be urgent. So, but the thing is that that guilt that eats away at you slowly because you think you should be doing this or you wanted to do this, but you can't, like, you know, that, unless you deal with it, will always be there. And you get to carry that along with you. So do something nice.
Drop's face gets serious. So do something nice.
Do it.
Do it. Um, so another thing that I wanted to bring light to that I'm only gonna say this and then I'm gonna let Nicole talk because I knew the minute that I wrote this down, I was like, oh yeah. That was gonna spark a lot. So I think something that we are unaware of that we need to be aware of is that sometimes when we see our family members and we're around them, we revert back to old childhood patterns, which can hurt us and remind us of difficult times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a good one
That's a
too.
good one. Because that's a hard one to keep in mind.
It's hard to be aware of it first.
Yeah.
And then it's a hard to not fall back into those pit holes.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Because I remember specifically like going home and being like, why do I feel like an inadequate? Like, why do I feel like I'm 15 again? And I'd walk, run to my room or whatever, right? And it's like, and slam my door. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
am 37. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, come on. And uh, this takes time. So even if this year when you're with your family, if you just notice it, just put a little spotlight on it and maybe try to curve it or whatever, or even stop it in mid-sentence where you're like, oh, this is what they talked about right here. Like, it's going to be a little bit hard when you first start like seeing it. So
Yeah.
you'll feel it first, because even like if you start getting hot because somebody triggered you, like your dad said something, because like that's, when you're 15, your dad put that wound there because of whatever. And then here we are replaying the same scenario again and again, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And the trigger is yours.
Trick is yours. You're responsible for your feelings, dude.
You're an adult and you're responsible for your feelings,
Yep.
right?
Preach it.
So be careful, tread lightly if you've got those kind of things, and don't be afraid to change. I give you permission today that you can change. You can change those patterns. You don't have to redo them for them. You don't have to redo it to fulfill some prophecy or whatever. I give you permission to change all that.
Here, here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was well said. I'm glad I caught that one because I was like, dang man, there is that thing. You just go home, you feel like a kid again, dude. Especially me. I
Mhm.
lived with my grandparents, so going to their house, I feel like a kid again sometimes, and I have to remember, like, holy fuck, I'm like an adult. I know a lot. I'm good. Like, I don't need to get triggered by things. Like, one year, I love my family, all of them. I love us for our faults. I love us for our strengths. And it's taken me a while to get there because I was a very hurt kid, not by them specifically, but traumas just make it hard to be around family, and I get it. And so
Mhm.
a couple of years ago, my uncle, again, I love him very much. Just to make this clear, because my grandma listens to podcasts, I don't want her to think I'm talking shit about him or anything. Because this is actually a big learning opportunity for me, and I'm glad it
Mhm.
happened. Came up to me and he was like, uh, your grandma said that, when they die that you don't think you're gonna have any family. And I was like, yeah, I did say that. And he was like, I text you on your birthday and you didn't say anything. And I was like, Yeah, I didn't get a text, and he's like, "Well, I didn't get a text back, so I figured, fuck this little bitch." And it was a really big moment for me because I had to sit with it. I realized,
Right.
one, this is just how my uncle talks. He wasn't being rude, he wasn't being shitty, he wasn't being mean. My uncle was a Marine, and he's a dude's dude, man. He's a fucking dude's dude. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and you can just see it all throughout his life. Like, my cousins are very like, tough. They're strong people. They're very strong-willed people, and it's admirable, really. But I got hurt, of course. And I didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, I guess I'm sorry, and I walked away.
Right.
So this was a big learning opportunity for me, where I was like, holy crap, that little kid in me still does not feel accepted. That little kid in me still feels like I'm not doing enough to be a part of the family.
Yeah.
That little kid in me is alienating itself. And I really had to look at myself, because I was like, damn, dude, like, yeah, I did that. I did do that. Like, 100%. I told my grandma. My grandma was concerned. She told my uncle. My uncle was concerned. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I reverted back to that little kid that got hurt by her uncle, because my uncle was too harsh for me when I was a kid, because your girl had a lot of feelings.
Right. Like, oh,
Yeah, and thinking about it, I was like, that was my uncle's way of showing me that, yes, dude. He texted me. He was like, dude, I text you. It basically, if I would have said, I would have been like, what are you talking about? I text you happy birthday. I didn't get a text back. That's cool. But like, I'm trying to be there for you in the way that I can. And I was like,
right.
you know, hindsight's 2020, dude. And in the moment, if I could go back, I'd be like, yo, that's just the way he talks. Don't take that personally. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Little kid in you is getting hurt.
Well, even like the whole thing is that's the pattern. So of course you want to relive the pattern anyway, right? Like that's what we know. And it's funny because even, being this deep into it, I still am so interested in the fact that like I get those moments where I'm like, oh shit, that was a pattern. Like
Yeah.
you're just like, fuck, there it
Fuck.
is again. I'm doing it again. Like sabotage. Like,
It's the most annoying fuck you'll ever fuck in your life.
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
there's no other way to say that.
No, because you're like, well, I'm gonna be all alone. Even though you didn't text anybody back, you weren't doing any of the connections. You're not,
Yeah.
everybody's like, hey, we're here for you. And you're like,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
No, nobody's there
I'm
for me.
I'm alone.
I'm alone. There's no light. I can't see anything. Your eyelids are closed. It's like I annoyed the shit out of myself when I realized it, because it was
All right.
the most annoying fuck I've ever fucked, because I was like, wow, I did that to myself.
I
Damn.
hear you.
We're not
Yep.
doing that anymore. But yeah, dude, that
Yep.
childhood trauma could sneak up on you. It's hard to be aware of it. And that's, where all this work that we've been trying to implement during this year comes in, right?
All right.
So, oh
Well,
yeah,
this is where we get to test it out because these are the people that gave us the trauma in the first place, right? Or the patterns or the
yes,
downloads and stuff like that. And it's like, and it's hard to change because again, we think we're perfect. There's nothing wrong with our family. And even just saying that there is something wrong triggers everything, triggers the whole line, the whole tree. The whole tree gets
the
upset.
whole thing is the worm. Literally.
So little things like I guess that are coming through right now is like you don't have to be right. You don't have to prove your point.
Yep.
You can just sit there and listen to them go on about I don't anything, whether it's
Anything.
fishing, whether it's hunting, whether it's politics, whether it's I don't know, real even if they wanted to come and tell me about their religious banter, that's fine. I don't have to be right because
No.
I already know. I am confident in myself right now that I know. And I'm also an adult because they have no power or control over me, right?
Yeah, it goes back to like when you were talking about family members who talk about sports with you.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a flying fuck about sports. Sorry if it hurts your feelings, don't care. I'll listen though.
I
Because like what do
listen.
I need to do? What is the point of you coming up to me with a bid for connection and this is the bid that you chose and me shutting that down?
Yeah. Like,
Self-alienation, dude.
right, because that doesn't make any sense either. It's like I'm supposed to be a family member. It's like, same thing when you're talking to your kid. Like a lot of times we dismiss kids and what they're talking about because we think that they don't know anything, what they're talking about isn't important, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And it's important to them, fuckers. Get out of your own way and listen to them. So if your uncle, brother, step, whatever, comes up to you and starts to like try to, just because you're not interested in it doesn't mean it's always about you, fucker. Like, just listen to them. Hold space for these people.
What did you say? You said your uncle, brother, cousin, whatever. I'm sorry, that has me dying. Your
Uncle,
uncle,
cousin, brother,
yeah, your
step,
uncle, cousin,
whatever.
brother.
Hey, sometimes.
um, okay, so next one I have is just a quick one that I also found important too, is that try to keep if you have a daily routine, this is important for all of us. We've learned this the hard way, especially Nicole. If you have a routine, a regular routine, try to keep your regular routine during this time because a change in
Hmm.
that routine can add stress and it can really throw you off. If you get
Hmm.
up in the morning, you meditate, do it, dude. Make time for that. Make time for yourself to have your normal routine outside of having a gathering because you're not going to feel centered and you're not going to feel like you.
Right, right. And you need, because it's extra energy, because it's extra anxiety and all the feelings that we have, um, it's important for you to expel that energy or at least kind of clear it out before you go into another day of high energy. Like,
Yeah.
it's more important now because you're going to build that up and you're going to explode at somebody. It's not going to go well.
Yeah.
So remember that you are the most important thing in this whole scenario. So take care of yourself, like go exercise, go meditate, do these things. Don't tell yourself that you can't do it, you don't have time, because that's what we always do at this point.
Make time.
Take the time. You've got it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
might not, figure it out, get up earlier, do what you have to do to set yourself up for success is the best thing
Absolutely.
possible. Because the
Hmm.
thing is everybody's going in hot. You are going to have those kind of interactions because everybody's over here like bitey, and it's like, because nobody's like walk the dog. Like, we always
Yeah.
say like a tired dog is a good dog. Same with people.
Fucking for real, dude. Think about your baby when they get tired, dude. Are they the happiest fucking thing in the world? No, they're probably crying
Hmm.
cranky as hell.
Right. So go take some self-care. And even like during a house party, there's nothing wrong with you standing outside for 5 seconds by yourself to collect and like recenter yourself, release, release and clear the energy, and then walk back in. There's
Dude,
nothing wrong with that.
I do it all the fucking time during Christmas. I love my
Hmm.
family, but my family's drinkers, dude, and they you know how drinking goes. You get boom, boom, boom. Things are fun, things are fast, but sometimes it's a lot. So I just go outside for a minute, come back
Yeah.
in, I feel good. But
Hmm.
speaking of that, there's another thing I wanted to bring up that, try to think about moderation during the holidays because there's a lot that
Hmm.
goes behind this one. One of them being that eating and drinking can sometimes, temporarily ease any pain or uncomfortability you're having,
Hmm.
but it can also lead to feelings of guilt and a lot of uncomfortability in like afterwards.
Right. You don't have to apologize the next day. Like,
And you don't want to feel guilty that you ate more than you should have. And like now you're like
yeah,
putting
or you
yourself
drank
on
too
this, yeah,
much,
you
and then
drink too
like,
much. And
right, like,
then you go down the rabbit hole of what did I say? Did I say the wrong thing? I hope that person's not thinking of this. Or Just think about it,
I mean,
dude.
unless you like to spend the next day like that. I mean, I don't judge. Like, what else? Do
Fucking hats
you?
off to
But
you, dude.
right,
You enjoy that?
I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of it, which is fine. I'm done. I'm tired. Uh, so with these things, it's like I know for people that have anxiety about like being in groups and stuff like that, I always use a little bit of alcohol. And I'm not condoning anything, and you're an adult. Um, most of you. Uh, a couple drinks before I go meet my family is fine.
Oh
It
yeah.
kind of smooths things over. I can be joyous. I don't have to be so sensitive. Like it's really nice for social lubrication.
I'm laughing because not many people know this, but I go to my grandparents around 9. Hits 10 o'clock, your girl's drinking. My grandpa
Yeah.
always finds it so funny. He's like, 10 o'clock on the dot, Cassie. And I'm like, oh, you know it, baby. Here we go. Like, I'm there early
Oh,
before everybody. I got to get a couple drinks in me, loosens me up. And then I'm excited. And like, there's no, because I still get anxiety. I mean, nobody's fucking perfect. I get a little
right, right.
anxious. I'm like, I feel like for some reason I get this thing where I'm like, my family's known me all my 30 years of life, but it's going to feel awkward.
It and isn't that weird? Like we
Yeah,
always
it's
feel a
weird.
little awkward with people and stuff like that. Like, hey, I know you've known me since I was, a baby, but now I'm awkward and weird about it. Um, which means that we're probably all a little awkward and weird.
Yeah.
So, just a little, it's fine.
I
But
get,
don't, and if it's your drug of choice, your drug of choice,
yeah,
do what
dude.
do you, but do it responsibly, like an
Absolutely.
adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not a
100%.
kid. Don't be puking in the corner and don't be yelling at Johnny just because he took your toy when he was 7. Whatever, get over it. Like, be responsible, be nice to these people.
Right.
Even if they don't deserve it, be nice. Because you know what? Don't take it personally. Don't take it personally.
Yeah,
And
dude.
don't assume.
My other thing is get out of your head about yourself because this happens to me a lot during the holidays. I
Mhm.
get tattooed, man. I have some pretty bold tattoos, as those of you that watch, you can clearly see. I have
I
some pretty bold tattoos. My family
don't
is
have any.
oh yeah, no, 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 no.
I'm
That's one
gonna
of those
start.
tattoo sleeve shirts, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
goes down to your fingertips.
yeah. It's just a
Yeah,
little,
I like it. Can I buy one?
yeah. I have these on Amazon.
You guys, when we for real started making like like a shirt that's like one of those tattoo sleeves, and it's just Nicole's tattoos. You can buy her
That's
tattoos.
not a bad
That's
idea.
hilarious. But yeah, dude, I get into my head about that. I get into my head that, my grandma tells my family a lot, which totally cool. My family knows what I'm into. They know that I'm pagan, they know that like, we have the podcast. They know a lot about me and they know that some of them think I'm fucking weird as hell and I like it. But sometimes I get in my head about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I hope I'm not too I hope I don't what if they like, oh my God, my uncle has to see my tattoos. And I'm like, all right, fucking chill out, dude. I gotta sometimes that's what for me personally, getting some little like release for myself. It gets me out of my
Hmm.
head and I'm like just excited to see him because then I'm like not overthinking as we talked about this season because shit'll get you.
Well, yeah, because then you start projecting onto this person, and then they're like, well, I don't know what happened because you're trying to like start a fight, basically.
Yeah, yeah, I'm starting it before you're even there, baby.
Right. I know we're gonna
I'm
fight, so I'm gonna start it.
just gonna be like, yeah, I got a new tattoo. Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
Gross. Um, Another thing that I wanted to bring up, and I know we talk about it again, but I'm never going to jump down from this soapbox. So you're going to hear it again, and I'll do it
Yeah.
again.
I love soapboxes.
Remember the 4 agreements, yo. Remember
Remember the
the
four
four
agreements.
agreements.
Hmm.
We are not assuming we know how others are feeling and that they know how we're feeling. We're also not taking anything personally during the holidays. You don't know what exactly other people's are feeling around this time. Some people don't know how to process their emotions in ways
Right.
that you could. You don't know how
Hmm.
others are what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they've been through. And like, you cannot assume that they're going to come in guns blazing, and you can't assume that they think you're going to think that you're doing that too. That they just know how
Mm-hmm.
you feel, or they know what you've
Mm-hmm.
been through, especially like as families, move away, or people come back for the holidays. Like, just stop assuming, dude.
Well, and realistically, it's really hard not to hurt somebody's feelings when you've been in their life for so fucking long,
True.
right? Like, you know, and not even like purposely. Like, I know I was, especially as a teenager, I was super sensitive. So somebody would say something and I would immediately start crying. And they didn't mean it that way. That's the way I took it, right?
Yeah.
Because I was sensitive, because I wasn't having my feelings met. And I always felt like everything was an attack.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of start moving out of like that victimhood mentality and like really owning our own stuff and being like, the four agreements really helps with this blueprint kind of thing, because I can always be like, if something triggers, I feel it still, but I know it wasn't personally. And I know the trigger is mine.
Yeah, it
So
makes you like aware of it so that you're not snapping. It's like
yeah, yeah.
somebody's looking,
Yeah.
glitch. Oh my God. Woo.
Oh,
That was
ew.
embarrassing. You're welcome. Oh, that was funny. What I was gonna say, I didn't want to say. So I was trying to stop my mouth as it was coming out, because here's the thing is, you might think that somebody's looking for that trigger, but they're not.
Mm-mm.
And they might touch it without knowing they're touching it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to say after I realized what I was going to say. But the thing is that trigger, like she said, is yours. It's in you. And it's not like people are maliciously going for it. And sure, sometimes some people are. I doubt it's your family. And if it
Right.
is, well, dude, deal with it. Like, you got to take
Mm-hmm.
it, and you got to be like, you know what? Honestly, that you're not worth it at that point. If somebody's maliciously looking for
Right.
that, that's a different episode. But right now, we're talking about people usually aren't doing that shit maliciously. They don't know that there's a button there to trigger.
No, and like even if they are, again, it goes back to you're never going to change their mind. All they want is to get the rise out of you. They're taking your
Yeah.
power. They're
Thank you.
literally like, they're like, ooh, because think about this. Like, let's put this in a scenario. Is like, oh, I'm gonna say this to Cassie because I know I'll trigger and I'll get a rise out of her, right? Even if they're not that like evil villainous, like they're literally think like,
Yeah,
I'm
boo
gonna do
ha
this,
ha.
right?
Oh my
And I'd be
God, we're
like,
weird
oh,
today.
Cassie, just the person I've been looking for. It's not a TV drama, okay? Like,
Right. It's not that fucking serious, dude.
no. And so even if they come over and they try to push you off your pedestal, don't do it. Don't fall for it.
Yeah,
Like, what they say has no control over you unless you give it.
absolutely, dude. And I will say there is nothing more satisfying than something that used to fucking fire you up, not firing you up anymore. And then the person that likes to fire you up is like,
Disarmed.
yeah, they're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, the
All right.
confusion of you not combating and being
Mm-hmm.
combative anymore
Mm-hmm.
is really satisfying. And it's kind of one of those things where I will say it's kind of validating, and like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm healed. Like, that doesn't bother me anymore. And like, it's okay. Like, it just, like, don't have to be passive aggressive about it, but you don't also have to
Right.
get combative about it either. Sometimes it leads to good
Right.
conversations, but it's pretty
Well,
satisfying.
absolutely. If you were like, oh, okay, like if they came over and was like, yeah, I heard you like robbed a bank and went to jail and like, I don't know. And they're trying to get you're like, no, I didn't. I didn't do that.
Right.
What does it
Sorry, I was
matter?
I was giggling again because of my fucking hard glitch. Whew. God, that was a glitch in the matrix for
Oh,
real. I'm so glad you guys get to experience that with us. This is what our everyday life looks like.
absolutely. Absolutely. We have
um,
glitches.
so I have two more things before like my last thing, and the next one's kind of easier, but the next one's big. And the next one is if you're feeling super down during this time, it's time to pamper yourself, dude. Do what feels good, what you want to do. Take a walk, take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
It's your holiday
Mm-hmm.
too. You can own your own
Mm-hmm.
holiday, and you can do whatever feels good for you because you could be down
Mm-hmm.
for multiple reasons. And
Go get a massage.
dude, get a fucking massage. I'm going on vacation.
Yes,
What
me
feels good to
too.
me.
That feels great for me. Escapism. Let's go.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I'm ready, baby. So the next big one that I want to talk about because I feel like over the years we have encountered this a lot as hairdressers and we've never actually really talked about it. But I want to talk about being around family members who are down or sad, um, mainly because there's a loss in the family or a loss in their family or something they've experienced, or they've gone through a really big trauma, and you have this family member that's really down because it's easy to look at Nicole, say we're at a family gathering together, and I'm like, oh well, this person's just like being such a downer, like they need to get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it can be really hard when you're experiencing loss or you're just really not in
Especially
holiday
at a
mood because you've
holiday.
gone through a trauma.
Yeah, especially during a holiday, because it's this expectations of you to be so joyous and happy, and you just don't fucking feel like it.
Yep.
But, you want to go to your family. This is like maybe a place where, just some sort of familiarity because you don't want
Yeah.
to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
So, have compassion for people who are going through things. Um, just because they make you feel uncomfortable doesn't mean that what they're going through isn't important.
Right.
Check yourself because, like, really what it is they make you feel uncomfortable because you probably feel a little sad too, but you're covering it up.
Right.
And they're reminding you that you are sad,
Yep.
and that's why you're being triggered by it. So be careful.
Yeah. And I want to talk about like what you can do to help yourself during this time if you are experiencing that. If you have had a big trauma or a big loss. And like, well, first thing I want to say is you got to recognize and accept that you're having feelings about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Mm-hmm.
need to do that so you can understand what your needs are and seek out solutions and support for it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are somebody who's having a child who's down, you know, because that happens a lot too, kids, man. Sometimes this can be hard for kids too. Kids are humans too. You
What?
need to
They're humans?
yeah, that's weird, right? Weird. They have feelings that are big for them.
Ugh.
You need to recognize their feelings and support
Mm-hmm.
them. And
Mm-hmm.
I think another big thing in this is you have to try not to assume, again, we're not assuming that our family
Mm-hmm.
will not be there for us.
Mm-hmm.
We have to give our family chances to show up for us.
Yeah, because that's a nice place to like. This is where sometimes we get those little bits of support that we from somebody that's unexpected, like maybe that cousin that we never see, or like, somebody's girlfriend that just showed up for, the first time, and you're a little down and you're like, oh, here she comes. And then like you have this great conversation that happens and this moment that connects you. You never know when those connections are going to happen. And we all cherish those connections. We're afraid of them at first, but when we have them, they're literally life changing because it's just
Absolutely.
that little bit of that support really springboards you to another place.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, I'm going to give you a permission too during this episode, and it's going to be that you're allowed to set clear and specific boundaries with those around you, articulating
Hmm.
what you and your family are up to doing.
Yeah.
It can be said nicely and it can be explained, but it has to be definitive. You
Hmm.
have to, if you are somebody who has a husband and children or a wife and children, whatever it may be, If you have your own family outside of your big family, your bloodline family that you came from, you are allowed to set boundaries for what's best for you and your family.
Mhm.
And it can be definitive, and it doesn't have to be attacktive or combative, and it doesn't have to be, well, we're just not doing that. It can be, listen, my family's going through it right now. We need to, we all agreed we wanted to stay home together for Christmas this year. That's what we're gonna do. We love you guys, and we are happy to have your support. But that's what we need in this time, and that's
Mhm.
okay.
And that's okay. That's the one thing that's really nice about what you just said was like that actually does give us permission to do things that like it doesn't have you don't have to fight to get what you need. And just because you're asking something for yourself doesn't mean you have to be angry at the other person for asking what you need.
No,
So be careful again that we don't spew those triggers onto other people just because we're trying out something new or um, we're afraid of what the repercussions will be because we've altered the path or changed.
yeah, and be brave in it. You
Be
keep in
brave in it.
mind that if that's your healing response and that's what you need for you and your family, you know, right now, you have to keep in mind that this is just one holiday. It might not
Mm-hmm.
be the same next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Like Nicole and I have, and again, what I'm trying to say is, again, allow your family to show up for you, because Nicole and I, obviously, we are family at this point. We are not just friends, we are lovers and family
We're
and
lovers and friends
soulmates.
and family.
I go to their house every morning, Christmas morning, but if they were experiencing something and Nicole was like, hey, we're not going to be able to do that this year, I would be like, okay, is there anything that you need? Is there anything that I can do
Mm-hmm.
outside of that that can
Mm-hmm.
help you and your family right now? Because I would want to be a family member that shows up for my family like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to give people the chance to do this for you.
And be okay. Remember not to take it personally if they choose something like they don't take your help either.
Right.
Like, yeah, you're giving it, and that's great. And that's all, that's where the expectation stops, is right there. Because if they do say that, like, no, no, I've got this, or no, thank you, or whatever, they're not rejecting you, right?
No.
Don't take it personally about it.
Right. I know that it's natural to grieve, man, after a loss. We've talked about this in our episode
Mm-hmm.
on grief, and it's important to respect what you feel and know that there are people in this world who love you and who are happy to support you during it. There's this little story that had just got rammed right to the front of my brain that I have to tell you guys too. Like, I had a client whose mom, oh, she's a more mature woman, and she's lost her mom like 3 or 4 years ago, and she still was grieving her every day during every time during the holidays, because they had a bunch of traditions they would do with her mom. That she was the matriarch of their family, so they would go to her house for Christmas cookies. They would go for decorating and putting up like their little her Christmas village and things like that. And she was just every year unbelievably sad about it during the holidays. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, I was like, so what is something you can do that will bring that tradition in that can make you feel close to her again? You and your family, for you and your
Mm-hmm.
family. She
Mm-hmm.
said, because she was talking about how they don't do any of that anymore. And I was like, what was something that you can do that can change that? Like, what can you take on that will bring that in? And she's like, I guess I could host a Christmas, like a cookie make party for me and my family. And I could take
Mm-hmm.
that tradition on. And she did. Last year she did that. She had the family come over for decorating. And then I think they do a sleepover with the grandkids too, is what they were doing before. So she took it on, and her nieces and nephews stayed with her, and her she all of them stayed at her house. And she took on the traditions that she missed from her mom, and it made her feel close to her mom again. It made her remember her mom, and she felt like she was doing something, it almost as a way to honor her mom.
That's
And
really cool.
I it's like bringing that forward. Just if you have lost somebody that you have all these traditions with, try bringing the traditions back in. They're gonna
Yeah.
be there in spirit. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that much right now. They're gonna be happy. They're probably going to experience it with you. And
Absolutely.
and if it makes you feel close to them and it makes you feel like the loss is less heavy, do it, dude. Just do
Yeah.
it. Be brave. Do it.
And you can also, during these times, is put out some, like if you guys are all having dinner, put out a plate of their favorite food
Yeah.
and set it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually to discard it, what I do is I'll take it out and let the animals eat it.
Yeah.
Um, you can disregard it however you feel it's right. But I would leave it. If it's not too weird, I would leave it overnight. If it's too weird, don't worry about it. But do that's a really good way of showing respect to our ancestors,
Yeah.
which, you know, if you've lost them, they are now an ancestor.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Which is also a fucking cool thought.
I know. I just thought that too. I was like, oh my God, they're ancestors. Mhm.
So to cap this all, I just wanted to do some takeaways, unless you have any more to add to this before we do your takeaways. So, okay. Some takeaways are going to be finding your own meaning for the holidays. If you know it's going to be hard, finding an ally, having somebody there with you that can understand you, because we talked
Mhm.
about that. If someone's upset about something, making space for them to share their concerns. Also, being brave if you are upset about something and asking for help,
Mhm.
asking for support when you need it. When opinions start flying, stay grounded in who
Mhm.
you are and know that you don't have to change their mind, and don't take anything personally
Don't take any. Don't assume.
and don't assume.
Something popped in. If you are going to, what you can do if you're going to be alone this holiday is look for other people that are going to be alone and host a party yourself.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
really want to do something, like it'd be a great place for you guys to gather. And it would be very fulfilling for you to hold other quote unquote like orphans in your midst, you know?
Yeah, I like that. That's actually a really good idea. Yeah, dude, that's our advice. Take it or leave it, dog.
That's right. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
That's
Take what
all.
you want. Leave what you
Yep.
want.
Leave the rest. And really, yeah, it is. Remember, this is when we're supposed to connect. It's really, I really do love the holidays because, like, it gives me, especially because I'm such a workaholic, that this is like, no, it's Christmas. I'm not working. I'm not working, right? And it gives me time to like connect with people just on a level of like, hey, you've known me for a really long time.
Yeah. I agree. It's such I agree. I love the holidays. I really do. I love
Mhm.
let's be honest, I love all of it. I love the hustle and bustle right before you get to go into this period of relaxation. I love all the decorations. I love the fucking music. I'd be listening to music right now and killing all my clients with it if I could, but I don't want to do that to them. I like I like buying things for people when I can. But
Mhm.
also, I also like the feeling of connection and the love and like just if being with people more than I personally love gift giving. It's very fun for me. It's very fulfilling for me. But outside of that, just being able to spend time with the people that I love.
Mhm.
Words are really hard today.
Words are hard.
Words are fucking hard. Really hard.
Glitch. Glitch.
Glitch in the matrix. So yeah.
So fam, I hope this helps. I hope you find some light in the holidays. I hope you smile a lot.
Mm-hmm. I hear here. I
You're
agree.
here.
Well, all right, folks. One more episode of the season, and then we're peacing out for a season. We're gonna be taking a break, but we'll talk about it in the next episode. So I hope you guys have great holidays, and I hope, again, like Nicole said, you find happiness, love, and some smiles and some joy and some connection.
Absolutely.
All right, peace out, peeps.
Bye, heathens.